So, hello everyone. I am Shrija. Hope I am audible. So, first of all, I welcome you, ma'am. So, uh, welcome you on this webinar organized by EAGE IIT ISM Dhanbad and Kurukshetra University, which is the society. So, as you know, today our speaker is Magdalena Osumi. So, and we are really very honored and thrilled to have you here, ma'am. So, first of all, I would like to introduce her. She is originally from Poland and now based on Tokyo, and she works with a UD group under the Japan NRG platform, where she specializes in wind and solar market dynamics, along with battery storage systems and grid integration, and policy analysis for renewable energy deployment. And her intelligence reports are commendable and used by global firms like BlackRock and all. And they are really very helpful for all the people in the energy sectors and provide insights for the energy stakeholders. She's also a moderator at the Japan Energy Summit and exhibition, where she bridges conversation between industry leaders, researchers, innovators, and whatnot. And with such a great foundation and skills and whatever she had done and contributed to the energy sector, we would like to welcome her and guide us through this shifting economy and shifting energy sector and what all is happening. And please give us some insights. We're really honored to.
Thank you so much for such a nice introduction, and especially, well, to be honest, I'm relatively new to energy sector, to be frank with all of you. And I started very, I was all over the place when I joined this meeting, and I wasn't sure if I should introduce myself, but I'm really happy to have this opportunity to speak with young generations, because I know people from younger generation, because I know that when as you mentioned, I'm originally from Poland, and I joined when I came to Japan. I knew a lot about energy, I saw a lot of changes in this landscape globally, but both media and I think that people awareness focused more on environmental aspects, and by environmental I mean more advocacy, more people from organizations like Greenpeace. But I think that many people were not really aware how it affects us, our daily lives, our jobs. And I found that space very, very interesting. And well, this was, it's probably not the best way to start this conversation and introduce myself. But I wanted to say that this is the reason why I changed my focus of my career, my life. It was because I thought that it will definitely be the pivotal part of our future. So I think that your thoughts, your skills will really matter in this area. So I'm looking forward to connecting, to brainstorming, to talking to all of you. And I'm not sure if I will be able to share my presentation. I prepared a few thoughts. I will try to do that while I speak. But seriously, I'm not sure if I'm not really used to Teams as that well, apparently. So, but in the meantime, so I just wanted to say a few words about Japan NRG, which is our platform, which I joined almost 2 years ago. And my background was mainly in journalism. So, like I said, media. I know what media cover, but I'm also aware of what media don't cover, don't write about. And this is something, well, our platform, Japan NRG, is a research business intelligence platform targeting targeting people from all energy sectors. We focus mostly on Japan, but of course, when some projects and business and investments, businesses involve both Japan and other countries, other in Asia or well globally, or companies, for instance, businesses that want to join the Japanese market. We cover that too. We look into it from a very broad perspective. So we're trying to also get more knowledge about the entire region, about Asia, APAC in general. So we provide a weekly newsletter to our clients who come from different fields and are mostly businesses in the energy, in all energy sectors, but also there are lots of people from academia. So this is what we do on a daily basis. We write, we cover news, we analyze news, we write about trends. But so this is what I wanted to talk to you about because I know that I would like to later to hear from some of your thoughts, some ideas, how you can contribute to this change, because we now see the main trend that's happening, that we're witnessing globally, is the shift to clean energy, to low carbon solutions. And I know that both Japan and India are major importers of fossil fuels. So investing in renewables, hydrogen, and grid modernization is, well, this is a pivot from centralized fossil fuels to distributed low carbon energy networks. This is what we are witnessing right now. But we also know that there are lots of challenges in this landscape. While Japan is pushing innovation in, maybe I should start with that. What are the main, yeah, I should definitely try to share my presentation. Just let me check if I can. Okay. Oh yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Just yeah. I will just go to the part where well, this is just a very brief. Please have a look at. I hope we can have a look at this later. Just let's go to the global trends. Thank you. So this is what I wanted to, well, all of us to have a look at these some keywords that are where we see some commonalities and some well, region-specific topics and challenges. But what we know so far is that, well, massive scale-up of renewable energy is our common goal globally, and solar and wind are already seen in Japan as key technologies that will definitely push forward the energy transition. But we know that every region has its challenges. For instance, Japan, even though it has already it's been number 3 in terms of installed capacity of solar energy, it's struggling with businesses actually going bankrupt, not operating many of those already existing solar farms. There are land limitations that are affecting new businesses. I'm not. I don't want to read the whole presentation just for the sake of. We can learn that from during classes. We can learn that while reading some new materials, new studies from and hearing new policy changes from government administrations. But what I wanted us to think here about is what kind of common ground we can find. And I'm not sure how many of you are interested in what specific areas you're interested in. But well, for instance, I know that green hydrogen and ammonia is also something that Japan is focusing on, but not only Japan, but the entire APAC region is also seeing this as as a clean alternative. But there are lots of challenges in terms of producing hydrogen and ammonia. Well, it's basically the same thing. It's just the way how we transport it, but there are lots of challenges. Even countries that have been seen as most developed in the world, the costs are one of the biggest challenges in the development of this technology. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you so much. Other trends that we see globally are electrification of everything. Yes, so of course, transport electrification. I'm not sure. This is something I'd like to hear from you, because well, even though I tried to read more about India and Indian policies, well, the development of technologies. Of course, I'm not an expert, so this is something I'd like to hear from you. But grids and smart grids and grid improvements are definitely something that will be really important to all, really crucial for all, for installation of new technologies, especially renewables. And I think that even though it's been not in, it hasn't happened in Asia recently. I'm not sure about India, but you definitely must have heard about the grid, the blackouts in Spain, especially. So you see, like one of the most the biggest challenges that once again we got reminded of was grid resilience. So I think that this is something that we definitely need to keep in mind and think of ways to make it the most resilient. When it comes to, I think that CCS is something that it may be of interest for all of you as well. This is something that Japan is really betting on, I would say, especially in cooperation with Australia, which is interesting. But it's carbon capture is one of the things that's well, since we already have fossil fuels and a lot of fossil fuels heavy industries, we need to think about, well, Japan is thinking about ways to make these, to reduce emissions from by using carbon capture and storage. And one of the last things that's also gaining traction in Japan are small modular reactors. And but also Japan is, even though Japan is trying to push this, it's still it's struggling with costs. So can you go to the next one, please? Thank you. So just to I just picked up the key technologies that Japan is viewing as the most the most essential for in the next years. So of course we have all these CCS small modular reactors, but of course given the costs, and other challenges like I would say infrastructure related challenges, what we see in front of our eyes that's happening right now is innovation in especially focused on small scale solar systems, floating offshore, and also floating solar systems, which are like also gaining momentum recently in Japan. But when it comes to solar, one of the key technologies is are those thin, slim, flexible cells, modules called perovskites, which are believed to be well, the next generation technology that will actually in the maybe 5-6 years will is expected to be commercialized and should revolutionize Japan, but we'll see how it goes. Floating with offshore wind now expanding to Japan's economic exclusive economic zone outside, far from the shores, because well, Japan's coastal areas are very shallow. Floating offshore wind will be also crucial. Hydrogen pilots are also something that will be that will Japan wants to see in the next 5 to by definitely by 2040. And what's also it affects all technologies. Japan's role in rare metal supply chains. I had a chance to speak about this during Japan Energy Summit and Exhibition this year, and actually spoke about this topic with many people I've encountered during this meeting, this event. This is something that, with all the development of new technologies like batteries that also affect the way how grids work, how other technologies operate actually. Japan has been really reliant, especially on China, but also other regions, other countries in Asia, in terms of supplying the import of metals, critical metals and minerals that are well crucial for these for these technologies. But Japan is not basically has none of them. So this is something that I would also like to leave as food for thought for you, like what kind of solutions we can find, maybe alternatives, some byproducts from other technologies. And yeah, can you go to the next slide, please? So this is an area I would like to pick your brain as well. We know that Japan, and like I said, Japan is reliant on many countries, and it already needs to cooperate with other regions, other areas. So, and actually there is already some cooperation between India and Japan. These are MOUs already signed by Japan and India. And I think that, well, I know that the clean energy partnership between India and Japan is more general, but we also have International Solar Alliance and Thermal Power and Clean Coal Technology MOU. And well, they, as far as I know, these are relatively recent cooperations, recently signed MOUs. I'm trying to check my notes because as far as I know, well, the CEP is definitely well, the most crucial, but there are recently there have been a number of green hydrogen projects between Japanese and Indian firms. So these definitely the CEP is aimed to accelerate technology transfer and R&D, and as far as I know, human resource development in these areas. So well, there's a lot of hope for this. In for development in these areas, but well, yes, I'm just checking my notes. It was signed in 2022, so and formalized this year. So I believe that we'll see any some more projects run under this framework from this year onwards. And apparently this includes collaboration from in areas like solar power, wind, hydrogen, ammonia, EV infrastructure, batteries, CCS, clean coal technologies, and energy efficiency. So I believe that this is actually one of the biggest achievements for both countries recently. And the International Solar Alliance has been signed with participation of Japan's public institutions and the Bank of well, one of Japan's public financial institutions as well, which focuses on solar technologies, energy storage, energy efficiency, and well, clean tech ecosystem promotion. So yeah, I definitely see a growing interest from Japan in India, and this is something that we've actually heard from a lot of our clients, a lot of our people in Japan's industry. They are definitely interested in cooperation between India and Japan, and India's technology is seen as really well established already. So this is something that's really, I hope that you also get more interest in, like, bilateral or, well, this cross-cultural cooperation. The thermal power and clean coal technology MOU is, I think that it's been actually promoted mainly by India's cabinet, but this definitely covers carbon credit mechanisms. Well, this is definitely something new for Japan, but I'm pretty sure that this area is something for the most promising and the most important for both Japan and India. That, as given that both countries actually have tried to get away from fossil fuels But what you may actually find very interesting is that as we talk a lot about, well, Japan being so focused on fossil fuels, actually Japan, which is trying to get rid of, well, reduce emissions, it's actually importing coal, it's importing CO2. So this is something that sometimes is very contradictory and sounds really weird to see that Japan to go forward with energy transition is actually importing both coal and CO2. So this is something I just wanted to add. And well, this is, as far as I know, my last slide, because I don't want you to focus on reading too much. And but we have region specific and common challenges. We both know that well, India is coal dominated. Japan used to be, but for incorporation in terms of use of CCS, carbon capture storage technology, Japan is relying heavily on Australia, and it is importing also coal from Australia. So it's this dependence on LNG and in Japan, and to some extent on coal as well. Since Japan is actually trying to, well, raising the mix of energy, renewable energy, raising the percentage in the mix by 2030 and 2040. By 2040, up to 50%. It's the national goal, but it's still, especially under the current geopolitical situation, it needs to rely on more stable resources like LNG, as well as nuclear power. And it's actually restarting some nuclear reactors that have been idle for years now. So, and it's extending work and extending lifespan of those reactors. We see that, well, despite the goals the governments are have been setting, and something that we're aiming for globally, we all need some stability, some resilience. So for instance, Japan has limited land, and because of that, especially in some areas, it's relies on import of some resources and technologies. And in that sense, in contrast, for instance, for India, land, the extensivity of it is giving a lot of, offering a lot of potential. So how do we navigate it? It's something that we definitely need to think about very strategically. And what I can, well, I don't really want to go through all these challenges, because I'm pretty sure you're more familiar with India's, and definitely not all Japan's challenges will affect the cooperation between India and Japan. But what I wanted to just to add is that, for instance, Japan has I'm pretty sure many of you, I'm not sure how many of you have actually been to Japan, or do you know someone in Japan? Do you plan to come? But Japan is a very bureaucratic country, a country that loves bureaucracy. And I think that to some extent, it actually affects how projects in energy sectors, energy um, landscape, um, how they run. It definitely they could benefit from smoother, from more um, efficient solutions, more efficient ways of handling these issues. There are definitely Japan has 47 prefectures, and many of them have their own rules, which also affect the ways that under which um, these projects are implemented, are operated. And what's really interesting is that um, with introduction of new technologies especially, we all know that cooperation with local communities is one of the issues that actually affects well, the future of every new project, every new energy resource, every new solution, and new business. And for instance, for Japan, uh, Japan it's a volcano. Uh, mm, well, country with a lot of volcanoes. I'm sorry, I'm stumbled that it's 10:30 p.m. So I'm trying to navigate in my third language. But what I wanted to say is that it has a lot of potential for geothermal power, but because of these local rules, because of some beefs with communities, and some struggles to actually handle and um, finalize some projects formally under uh, rules that are not unified. Uh, well, this potential is just seen as an ongoing issue, as something um, that's postponed, that's not really taken care of, but um, definitely Japan would benefit from more action, from more transparency, from clearer rules that could actually allow to companies to take advantage of this potential. So exploration is something that spans across different fields. Now we have in Japan, we have well, like I said, geothermal power, which Japan would love to see uh, more use of this power as a stable source of electricity. But unfortunately, because of some local rules and some internal struggles, it's not really progressing. And Japan has also a lot of potential in terms of wind power. And like I said, there is, with the expansion into the exclusive economic zone, Japan can also benefit from new studies, new surveys on in under the sea waters, under the ocean, because this will help Japan develop, enter this new field of especially floating floating power, floating wind, offshore wind power, wind technology, and but in some ways Japan is still stuck. So we're in the middle of this transition where Japan is trying to navigate these rules, regulations, laws, introducing new laws to actually allow for more investment, more clearer introduction, installation of these technologies. But I'm pretty sure that some of these, there are definitely common challenges, common solutions that could actually help accelerate these both in both regions, in both countries and the region, in the entire region, in APEC and East Asia, South Asia, and what I will definitely like to see is definitely more cooperation between not only Japan and India's governments, but also from other from companies in these countries, and as well as the involvement of companies is really important. I see that there's definitely potential for more input from academia as well. So I really rushed this, and I'm sorry for sharing this presentation really late, but I wanted to share some thoughts, and well, I'm not sure if this response, to what extent you this response it corresponds with your interest, but I would like to hear from you what kind of solutions you would propose to actually accelerate energy transition, and what kind of what should we focus on in securing stable power, electricity supply.
Thank you very much, Magda, for this insightful and knowledgeable session. I hope today's webinar has encountered everyone towards exploring the clean energy sector. So we are open to the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat box. And I myself will start first one of the questions. So from past 2 years, I am participating in many of the clean energy case competition, and I had the opportunity to present myself in Canada as well. But due to visa issues, I was not able to attend that. So one of the questions that I have, that you actually answered that too. While I was studying about geothermal, so I got to know that Japan lies on the ring of fire and has too much exposure to the Earth's heat. And you answered that due to bureaucracy and due to the ground levels of the people interest, Japan is not familiar and is having the issue of installing those or even space heating, which is low cost. So you answered that as well. So thanks for that uh, answer.
Well, I just wanted to add something. There is growing interest from both the government and actually in the most recent Japan's basic energy policy that's updated like every 3 years. Japan actually mentioned maybe it's not a good word, but has listed geothermal power as one of these key technology, key resources that it should be more should see more investment, and there is a lot of interest from outside of Japan, but you know, in Japan, there are a lot of hot springs, and even though, like you said, it's on the ring of fire, I know that there are some risks, but hot springs have already been used for leisure, have been somehow managed with some risk prevention measures. So this isn't something that cannot be utilized. It's actually there is a huge potential, but because of many resorts, or because many resorts or even local residents want these, they don't want to see big companies entering local areas and changing completely the landscape. It's more like a local issue rather than a challenge to actually utilize, preventing from utilizing these, well, to have a decent, to ensure a decent electricity supply from geothermal power, there would need to be a large-scale project. And I think that this is something that some local communities worry about, and that's something preventing further development. But I'm sure that we actually saw 3 so far, but there are, you know, that part, well, Japan has its own subsidy scheme, government-sponsored subsidy scheme, but, well, it has many, of course, but there, as a better solution for both developers, generators, and off-takers, power purchase agreements between both sides directly, signed directly, are an emerging solution, deal solution right now. And we have seen 3 PPAs, 3 power purchase agreements for power from geothermal power, geothermal resources. So we actually see this happening. It is possible. So, and I think that, well, Japan has so many rules in terms of emergency preparedness and prevention against earthquakes that is, well, it's definitely included in all. Well, these rules need to be addressed when starting every project, well, in the stage of planning. So I'm sure that this is something that, yeah, there is real potential there, but, well, we'll see. Probably that I believe this is the start. These 3 PPAs is a start. I see a thank you for your comment, your question. Oh, I see. Well, this is a very good question. Is solar a better option for the future, given the energy storage it provides and its high dependency on other sources as a backup? Japan is actually a very good example of, I mean, good example in terms of showing how badly it can be managed. So it can be a good and a bad example at once. In the south of Japan, we see Kyushu is the region that's really, really sunny, and this, because of the weather, or thanks to the weather, we have an excess of solar power. And because of that, Japan has to curtail some of this well, the surplus of solar power. So what it would be ideal in regions it's definitely ideal in areas like the south of Japan that's really sunny all the time, and it could be stored and with batteries, battery storage systems. It could be stored and released when it's necessary, when the sun is out. But for instance, Japan has a very it has a huge problem with grids, with infrastructure, with grid resilience, with grid capacity. So it's actually curtailing the excess of power, and it's such a loss. It's a terrible loss, actually, because it can't be transferred elsewhere, given that it has two frequencies in the west and east of Japan. So grid infrastructure, grid improvements are something that Japan is. It's something that should be done right now, but it's still a huge challenge. But I think that, of course, ideally speaking, solar with battery storage would be a great solution. But for that, we need to have enough batteries with larger capacities. And it's still the battery storage systems that are in Japan, for instance, they still store up to more 3-4 hours, not longer. So we will need more battery storage systems of larger scales, but it requires more investment, more money, and of course this technology is still under development.
Adding to your point, I recently studied that Bangladesh was also facing similar issue of the major grid. So what they proposed was peer-to-peer solar. So if in my society I am setting a small solar panel, I can sell my electricity to my neighbors. So the neighbors don't have a hefty upfront cost. They would be having only the charges of the used electricity. So me myself will cover my cost of installing as well, and the others will have the benefit of solar at a cheaper rate. So this was something that Bangladesh proposed, and Germany is also selling it with the name of Sol Share. So yeah, that was something I wanted to share.
Thank you so much. It's a brilliant solution. Like it's solar sharing. I think this is something that's definitely we see. I think that solar sharing is more in Japan is more understood as sharing with agri-solar, like agriculture and solar solutions. But what I actually like the idea of a local solar sharing systems that operate not centralized, but in it's something that could work in remote areas, that solar sharing, like literal solar sharing between community members. This is something that's actually very nice, very sensible idea. And thank you, Suvik, for your question, which clean energy technology has the most untapped potential for geoscientists to explore? Well, I think that, this is a very good question. I think that what I said about geothermal power, this is something that definitely is something that's not only in Japan, but there are other countries that definitely have this potential. And I'm not sure about other countries in Asia. I don't want to say anything stupid, to be honest, because, but I what would you actually, what do you think, like from Suvik, can I call you Suvik or Saha? I'm not sure. Like, sorry, just wanted to ask your thoughts. Please feel free to share your thoughts from like what do you see based on your studies, based on your knowledge. What do you actually think? Because like this is an area I'm not really an expert in. So this is something that I would like to hear from you. Well, I'm not sure if you can. You may not be able to use your mic. I'm not. Well, I think that in India, let's say, I'm pretty sure that it's still that it does have some volcanic active zones, like in the Himalayan region. I'm not sure, but maybe I think that this is something that there definitely must be some geothermal potential in India as well. Mm, and I'm pretty sure it's definitely underutilized, and there is definitely some potential. Of course, in Japan, if you think of some projects involving collaboration between the two countries. Also, I think that there is critical mineral exploration is something that's definitely worth looking into. I know that geoscientists could actually help locate uh, what, for instance, Japan is now importing, like rare earths, cobalt, lithium, graphite. All these deposits that are used in, for instance, battery storage. Batteries that are in Japan, like this is something that's really there is a boom um, happening right now in terms of development of batteries. But I think that lithium and rare earths are also in India. So, and there is definitely untapped potential in some regions in India. Japan has more with the development of wind power. Japan has potential for deep sea rare earth exploration and deposits, but this area is pretty sensitive because there are lots of groups opposing deep sea exploration. And well, despite actually this being a very good solution for well, a way to secure some critical minerals and cut this reliance from China. And also in Japan, mapping of seafloor resources is another frontier, I think. But I'm pretty sure, like I said, that the lithium. I'm not sure. I think I actually read something about a discovery of lithium in some and rare earths, but I'm not sure if it was Kerala or which area in India. So this is something I would, yeah, but I would definitely encourage everybody to get more interest in this, because it affects so many technologies. Oh, and but I appreciate the comment about research on solar energy. You know, like this is something that, well, I focus on solar, and as an analyst, and what I can say that even though I talk to people from well, developers, generators, and people who use solar power, well, the more I know, the more I see how that I will need to actually learn more, because it's still untapped how we, well, if for instance the pair of skies, um, this technology is something that's really, that will be, people want to utilize, and this could definitely revolutionize this field. And we have another question about nuclear power. Yeah, what we can say for sure is that nuclear power is definitely stable. The reason why Japan, for instance, is trying to uh, well, stick with nuclear power, and pushes for restarts of idle reactors, despite the 2011 accident at Fukushima. By the way, I was here. I was in Japan at that time, and I really remember how the aftermath of that, and the scare we all shared. But I can say that, well, now with my colleagues, most of us are former journalists, and we have seen how media actually, a lot of media outlets covered the issue, and there is a lot of sensationalism globally. But to be fair and frank, we need to make sure that what we all need is stability, and maybe building a nuclear reactor on an area that could be affected by a tsunami may have not been the best idea Japan used. I think that this is the issue. This is not really the nuclear energy itself is not the problem. It's how we handle that, how secure we make the facilities. But definitely, it's something that uh, mm, we need to, well, either nuclear or something similar that will make sure that it can run 24/7, and every country needs that. And Japan, even if we try to switch everything to solar, wind power, we won't have enough electricity. We won't generate enough electricity to make sure. Maybe in an ideal world, in years, there will be more solutions available, like hydrogen or low carbon solutions. But right now, what we have is definitely nuclear power is definitely the most stable one. But we need to make sure that it operates under very safe conditions. And in 2011, it's something that, well, what we learned is that Japan actually ignored some signs and previous warnings that actually years before a similar accident happened, and there was a tsunami, there was a huge earthquake in the same area, and Japan, well, the company that operated ignored that. So this is something that's not really, so it's like a separate issue, but for I think that we need a really smart mix of energy to make sure that grid is not overwhelmed, not overloaded, and also prepare the grid to install, to introduce different kinds of types of resources.
Thank you so much, Magda, for your time. I guess there are no more questions left. It was really nice having you and sharing the insights of Japan.
I'm once again, I'm so sorry for like this all these mishaps with the presentation and my problems with joining in. I'm serious, like I need to update my computer because it probably there was something wrong with my OS. But thank you so much for the invitation. I really enjoyed, but I would love to hear from some of your insights, some of your you gave me some food for thought as well in the comments, in the questions, with the questions you shared, and I would love to have more opportunities to actually interact with you, all of you. So if you have any questions, please, in the presentation there is a contact on the last slide. I left my contact information, so please actually reach out, and yeah, I would love to communicate and talk and hear more from your side as well, from your end.
Thank you so much. So after this, we are having a small quiz event. So if you want to participate, feel free to participate. But I know that it's too much late at your time zone. So uh, it's up to you.
Okay,
So
I'm
let's.
fine. I'm fine.
Mm,
Well, I'm already. I took a nap before the the presentation. This session.
okay. So I will be sharing the. So it is a set of 19 questions, and they are all related to energy sector. And just a second. Uh, So here is the joining data. So everyone can join in the playground. So I can see we have roughly around 26 participants, including myself. So we would be getting around 20 to 25 participants. I hope everyone can see the screen. I can see there are around 13 people. We will be starting shortly. I invite Shrija as she will be the quiz master for the quiz event. Shrija, you may have the dice.
Okay. So just 14 people at start. So let's start the quiz. Okay, so the first question is, which technology converts sunlight directly into electricity? And the options are solar thermal collectors, photovoltaic cells, wind turbines. Okay, so here you can see the summary. Almost three people had answered it correctly, and photovoltaic cells is the correct answer. Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. Which of the following countries is the leading producer of wind energy? China, United States, India, Germany. Okay, we can see the leaderboard also. So only two people had answered it correctly. And okay, and in a lithium-ion battery, which materials are commonly used in cathode and anode? Lead and sulfur, lithium cobalt oxide and graphite, nickel and zinc, sodium and silica. Okay, so let's see the leaderboard. Oh, Magdalena is on the top, and seven people had answered it correctly. The correct answer is lithium cobalt oxide and graphite. Let's move to the next question. Which nuclear plant had a major incident in the history of nuclear reactor development? Benzau nuclear power plant, Shidao Bay nuclear power plant, Chernobyl nuclear power plant, or Palo Verde nuclear power plant? Almost 10 seconds are left. Okay, so 11 people. The leaderboard speaks. So the correct answer is Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Okay, next question. Which of the following is true about the most renewable energy sources? They are universally available, highly efficient, location specific, or polluting? Okay. So Magdalena is on the top again, and four people had answered it correctly. Okay. The location specific is the correct answer. So largest photovoltaic solar power plant in India. Pavagada Solar Park, Madla Solar Park, NP Kunta, Fatehgarh Solar Park. Okay. So 2 people answered it correctly. Okay. Next question. Which renewable energy source relies on the heat from Earth's interior to generate energy? Biomass, geothermal, solar, tidal. Um, we had a lot of discussion about it. Okay. Okay. So 13 people answered correctly. The right answer is geothermal. All of them answered it right. Great. Next question, please. Which of the following types of clouds have the highest albedo? Cirrocumulus, cirrocumulus, cirrus, altocumulus. Let's see. Okay, 4 answered it correctly. Rohit Mahala is on the first position. Okay, so cirrocumulus is the right answer. Which geophysical method is most commonly used to locate viable geothermal energy reservoirs? Ground penetrating radar, electrical density tomography, ERT, magnetoresonance, or gravity survey? We have 10 seconds. Okay, 4 answered it correctly. Rohit Mahala is still on the first position. So the right answer is magnetoresonance. Next question. How does geophysics contribute to the assessment of carbon capture and storage for clean energy transition? By tracking plant growth, by predicting wave patterns, by imaging CO2 movement underground, by measuring solar flare impacts. Okay, this is a predictable question. Well, people answered it correctly. Rohit Mahala is on the top. So by imaging CO2 movement underground, yes. Question. What is the role of seismology in evaluating the long-term stability of geothermal reservoirs? To calculate energy output, to stimulate heat transfer, to track fracture networks and stress distribution, to monitor plant efficiency. Okay, Michael is on the first position now. Only 2 answered it correctly, to track fracture networks and stress distribution. Okay, not bad. Next question. The Ring of Fire is a hotspot for geothermal energy. What geophysical factor contributes to this? Ocean salinity, the lithospheric and tectonic activity, high solar insolation, or coral reef bleaching? I guess we had a discussion on this. Okay. Michael is still on the first position. The correct answer is lithosphere and tectonic activity, and 14 answered correct. Commendable. Next question, please.
A small announcement. After this round of questions, there will be multiple choice of questions as well and some numerical based questions. So be prepared for that.
Which country recently used satellite-based infometric INSAR to monitor CO2 leakage risk at a carbon storage site? Norway, Australia, Saudi Arabia, USA. Okay, Michael is still on the top. 15 answered it, 5 only correct. Okay, it's Norway. A geothermal plant extracts heat from 180 degrees Celsius source with a cold sink at 30 degrees Celsius. What is the theoretical Carnot efficiency? Select all correct approximations. 33%, 39%, 36%, 40%. So you have enough time to do the calculations. Okay. Michael is on the top of the leaderboard. So 33%, only 5 answered it correctly. Okay. Yeah, here goes the calculation if you want to refer to it. Okay, next question. Which of the following is true about most renewable energy sources? Suppose a remote village wants to choose between wind and solar power. What factors should be considered for long-term reliability of either energy source? Seasonal variability of wind and sunlight, availability of energy storage solutions, load demand patterns, day versus night, local soil mineral content. So it's a multiple choice correct. So choose wisely. Okay. So 9 answered it correctly. Not bad. Let's move to the next question. A household uses 1.2 kilowatt hour per day over a year. What's the energy consumption? 438 kWh, 1.577 GHA, 0.438 MWH, and 1000 kilocalorie. So it's again a multiple choice correct. So select the right options. You just have to play with the units. Okay, only one correct answer. Not bad. 438 kWh, 1.577 J, and 0.438 MWH. Okay. Let's see the next question. Which of the following clean energy sources are directly dependent on subsurface geophysical properties? Geothermal, solar PV, enhanced oil recovery, EOR for CO2 sequestration, and wind turbines. Again, a multiple option correct, so please be careful. Only if all the options are correctly chosen, then only you get a okay. So Michael, Vijita, and Sovic. Okay, two options are correct. Geothermal and enhanced oil recovery, EOR. 9 people answer it correctly. Not bad. Let's see the next question. Which of the following would you expect in a region suitable for geothermal development? High natural heat flow, low water table, frequent small magnitude earthquakes, or high resistive rock layers? Again, multiple option correct, so be careful. Okay, so Michael, oh, Urjita is on the first question. Great. Two people answered correctly. High natural heat flow and frequent small magnitude earthquakes. Okay, let's see the next question. Which of the following technologies would benefit the most from combining clean energy with real-time geophysical monitoring? Carbon sequestration in depleted oil fields, hydropower dam integrity monitoring, underground compressed air energy storage CAES, offshore wind turbine foundation stability. Okay. Again, a multiple option correct. So we see that. Okay. Ujita is again on the top. All the options were correct. Only three people did that. Great.
Congratulations to the winner of the quiz competition. I guess I forgot the name. Was it
Ur-
Urjita?
Yes, yes, it was Ujita.
Yeah, congratulations, Urjita. So we will be, you can DM me either or anyone from your contact, which are the organizers at EAG, and we will have the proceeding for the cash prize. And it was nice having the quiz round. I felt too much involved in this. So thank you everyone for joining. And thanks again, Magda, for having the session and joining the quiz event also.
The quiz was really interesting, but also there were so many difficult questions. I'm in awe that many of you actually answered correctly all of them.
Yeah. So yeah, let's wrap the session. Uh, we will try to have more and more conversation around this topic with you, and we will try to reach out to your colleagues as well in Japan. Thank you so much, Magda.
Thank you once again, and well, definitely please reach out, and well, yeah, I'm looking forward to more interactions like this one. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Good night, everyone.